How did the Jamaican man in Maine get away with working for the police department? Let's talk about it. I have a few theories on this one. As you guys might have already heard, a Jamaican man was arrested by ICE last week, John Luke Evans, who was a summer reserve officer with the Old Orchard Beach Police Department in Maine. And he was arrested because he was in the process of buying a gun and told them that he needed this gun for his job as a law enforcement officer, which of course raises a lot of flags because, as you guys know, law enforcement officers do not purchase their own equipment. ATF got involved and then ICE arrested him. So apparently he came to the United States on a visa in September 2023, and he was only supposed to be here for 7 days. His departure date was October 1st, 2023, and he overstayed his visa. What's interesting about this is ICE is using this as a poster child, right, example of what not to do, and accusing Maine of being completely irresponsible by hiring an illegal alien to work for them. The police department said that the town reviewed multiple forms of identification and submitted the forms for Evans to the Department of Homeland Security's E-Verify program. And the Department of Homeland Security then verified that Evans was authorized to work in the United States. And the form was submitted and approved by DHS on May 12, 2025. They're also saying that Evans would not have been permitted to begin work as a reserve officer unless Homeland Security verified his status. And in Old Orchard Beach, reserve police officers are part-time seasonal employees who must meet the same background checks, pass the same physical agility tests, and receive the same medical evaluations as full-time police officers. So friends, Maine apparently is one of a dozen states that allows non-citizens to work as law enforcement officers. Some states, of course, at a minimum require a green card, but in Maine, the minimum for them is a work permit. The police department now says, we intend to investigate this matter to determine what other steps we should take moving forward to ensure our continued compliance with all applicable laws. Here's how Evans could have possibly gotten away with it. Number one, he might have a pending green card application with uscis, and along with that comes a work permit that allows him to work. So it's quite possible that something could be pending for him. Or the second scenario is that maybe he had a case pending and submitted all of his documentation or IDs to the police department before his case was denied, and they ran him through E-Verify in May before a case was denied. Or the third possibility is this: he might have been working in someone else's name, and because this is a seasonal job, it's quite possible that he was using someone else's H-2B visa status and potentially their work permit under a different name, and the police department just doesn't want to admit that fact yet, that, oh my God, we reviewed and did the E-Verify under a different name and it wasn't really his name. Those are the likely scenarios here, guys, that would allow someone in Evans' shoes to get to work with the police department in Maine. Now, one other lesson to take away from this case is that the government is making it crystal clear that just because a person is here in the United States authorized to work, it doesn't mean that they are no longer considered an illegal alien who is then subject to being detained by ICE when they get into a scenario like this of trying to buy a gun, a firearm, and making an absurd argument that you need that gun for your job as a police officer. So when things like that happen, of course, it will trigger federal law enforcement to get involved in that case. And also, if Evans does have a case pending with uscis currently, maybe through a spouse, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's not subject to being placed in removal proceedings by uscis or by ICE with a notice to appear in immigration court. Friends, I'm covering all things related to Trump immigration changes. Follow for more.